Hi, my name is Ryan, and I wanted to make this video because I was given a revelation, a philosophy from angels, and every human that's living on this earth today has lived before in the prior heavens. And when he's all reborn on earth in the times, the centuries, with the technology available to us as people relative to where we left the past life. And we were born into the countries, the languages, the skin, hair, and eye colors that we're born into today because of choices that we made in our past life in those prior heavens before we entered life in this new documental phase of where we were supposed to regrow ourselves without memory of who we had ever been. Only thing people have today are inclinations. Only thing people have today regarding themselves is inclinations. Inclinations. I'm choosing this kind of activity. I'm choosing to do these types of things. I'm choosing these colors as my favorite colors. I have these hobbies as my favorite hobbies. I like these movies because they're my favorite movies. I like these music. These musics because it's my favorite music. If I'm a musician, I play this instrument because it's what I like. You know, I wear this type of clothing because that's who I am. I have this kind of furniture in my home because that's who I am. I have these kind of religious practices because that's who I am. I have this kind of religious document because that's kind of who I am. I have these sexual habits and orientation of interaction with others because, that's who I am. I'm this skin and hair color because that's who I am. And I'm this eye color because that's who I am. I have this height in my body because that's who I am. I have this size of feet because that's who I am. I have this massive amount of weight or lack of weight in my body because that's who I am. I have all these ideas of voyaging across the earth and travels and visiting territories, states, and countries because that's who I am. I want to learn different languages. I have different educational ideas. Well, because that's who you are, who I am. See, everybody has inclinations. And everybody was born in a time on this earth relative. Technology is an important advisement here because this earth's been aging for millennia. About 1 millennia is 1,000 years. This earth has been aging in history for millennia. And people were born in times and centuries and millennia that were relative to their prior birth before they entered this life on earth as a human outside of their prior life from the heavens. And when they lived before in the heavens, all of humanity that's living on earth today, all of humanity on this earth that is living today and has lived and is going to live, has already lived once before in those heavens up there, outer space. It was all put to death. And the repercussion was every human that was born again on earth had to be reborn without memory of who they'd ever been and re-enter this life in relations and relevance to where they left the last life. Your spirit in the abstract form is found in your personality. That's everything you choose to paint your life with. And your soul in the abstract form is in the present condition of your voice. And what your spirit looks like in the concrete form is found in your skin and hair color. And what your soul looks like in the concrete form is found in your eye color. We've all lived before. Always reborn on Earth as a final document. A final document to proclaim our identities. Okay, so we get to the moon. Like Ron was talking about, NASA's a good thing. Space exploration's a good thing. But God got down to it with Ryan and said, Ryan, space exploration is not bad. I want people to embrace that. It was one of the part of their pleasures and gifts that we endowed to humanity on this earth, the space exploration. But I want them to know the closest thing they have to them that they could inhabit and grow is the moon. The satellite surrounding the earth every day and night, and it's covered in ashes. Ashes and dust. Ashes and dust. And it's not there for ceremonies to remember and witchcraft and seances and all these zodiac signs and horoscope reading. Zodiac is bullshit because it all has to do with the zodiac signs and planetary alignment is all bullshit. It's a witchcraft document that has to do with the prior existence. It's not relative to humanity on Earth. It's falsified human imagination. And people grow from it. But they're serving planetary systems with their horoscopes and zodiac signs that are dead. They're serving dead planets as a religion to believe celestial objects that are uninhabitable, not even reachable. That's a sin too. That's a sin. But the moon was surrounding the earth, the satellite is surrounding the earth, and it's dusty, ashy cause it is today because it's supposed to remind people of the mercy, the mercy that the creators gave humanity when all of humanity was birthed here on earth. Because all of humanity could have been ashes and dust, destruction. Humanity could have been destruction, but nope. The Creator said, we need to replant this whole family that was growing up there in those heavens, down here on this earth, and give them another chance at living. But they will never have memory of who they ever were, and they had to be reborn in a life that was relative to their prior decisions in those heavens. Truthfully, the moon is a sign of mercy on humanity because it's a representation of what all of humanity and the creation on earth could have been. Ashes, dust, destruction, obliteration. But it's not. It's growing on earth, but the moon, it's the one thing that's closest to you, surrounding it every day and night. And it's a sign of our mercy towards the people. See, we were all one family once in the heavens, humanity on earth, but it was all judged, and people were the most innocent. That's why they're running and ruling the earth and living in forms of love, joy, procreation, marriage, jobs, education, exploration, tons of education, space exploration, underwater. You know, humanity was so loved, but it was given all these freedoms and enjoyments and pleasures. But there's something surrounding this earth every day, inhabiting with people called the moon, the satellite there, it's a sign of mercy. It's not for witchcraft or ceremonies or zodiac signs. It was to remind humanity, the people here on earth, of what we all could have been as a creation. Destruction, ashes, dust, obliteration. Boom, 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 boom. Asteroid after asteroid, just destruction, ashes, and dust. But see, we entered this life in the countries, skin and hair colors, and eye colors, and languages, and territories that we did because of our prior decisions and the past life when we all lived as one family in those heavens. And people were born in ages of technology, millennia back, centuries ago, all the way to decades ago, like the 1950s, millennia ago, 2000 BC, centuries ago, 1700s. Okay, everyone was born in generations and times on this earth that was relevant with technological growths and advancements in their societies and cultural practices that was relevant to their prior document when they were living in those heavens. Okay. And that's the truth in everything. So, that's the final document. Okay? And people are here living not in judgment or hate. I mean, you wouldn't have been given. Humanity is not an imprisonment. It's a proving stage. It's a documental stage of a living life in the circumference of how it perceives, diagnoses, interacts, relates, understands, educates itself, treats itself, grows, actions, its morals, its religious activity, all of it. It's a documental state. It's being documented by forefathers in those heavens. How humanity is living. Okay, it's all being documented. Every human on earth in every country and territory is being watched every day through their eyeballs. Their eyeballs. The black of the center of your eye is the same color of the blackness in outer space. And there's people in outer space watching people through their brains and their eye sockets and their ears and their mouths. And they listen to everything that people say. They're recording documents in their lives. They're watching them through their eyes. They're watching them through their hearing and how they talk and to other people and interact and how they see things. People are being monitored by the aliens and having to put people, humanity, here to judge that whole universe that placed all of humanity in this earth, on this earth, and the place that we are at. It's a documenting phase, and it's a trade document on a civilization that cultivates a purpose and grew the natural resources that a creator proposed to them through ages and times and technological growth, educational growths, It's the purpose of humanity is to prove a document, but it's not just one person. It's like everybody living on this earth. The document's being proved about every life that was lived in those heavens. And a new spirit is given to every person that is born on this earth. And that spirit that's occupying that human body will only distribute the contents of its prior life. And that, how you know what your content was in the prior life is found in your inclinations as a human. Your inclinations as a human. Your abstract form of your spirit, your personality. Everything you choose to paint your life with. So, take care. Oh yeah, and then God said, well, see, the thing is, NASA can explore outer space. Okay, we want them to. It was a freedom for humanity. We want them to go to outer space, but realize, God told Brian in a previous video, they need to realize you don't have the capacity on this earth to fly to another planet and plant yourselves and grow and farm and live from there and go to another planet and inhabit the universe. You don't have the capacity technologically or environmentally in supplication forms like the mountains and mining for metals and natural things on this earth that help create the technological parts, mechanical aspects of space shuttles and spacecraft that can get y'all out there. So, the thing is, people need to, we want them to explore outer space, but we don't want them to believe that's where they're going. Because this earth is the last place everyone's going to be living in the end. It's the only place that can supplicate all living and growth for humanity, the earth. And when the earth dies, there's going to be a supernova nucleosynthesis. But before that major star dies and has that nucleosynthesis, the earth is going to flood with water and cover with tidal waves. And this guy, Ryan Michael Poe here, The 7 nations, end times, world prophet doesn't know when that year or date is, but God said, I know the hour and the minute, and it's going to cover in water, and there's going to be a supernova nucleosynthesis shortly afterwards.